Well, John, Wigtown has now been the official Scottish book town for 20 years. Can you tell us a little bit about how it came about?
Well, contrary to common belief, the catalyst for the book town was a bank robber from Manchester. Now you may ask, what on earth is he on about? In 1989, this man was sent to Penningham Prison prior to his release. When he was finally released, he went home to Manchester and recruited a gang of thieves to return to Newton Stewart. During the Christmas holiday, they split into two. One group targeted Mary Prince's shop in Albert Street, where they stole £15,000 worth of jewellery, and the other group visited 110 Queen Street, which was our antique shop known as Galloway Clocks. The thieves were unable to enter the premises by normal means, so they cut a hole in the roof and used that to gain access to the shop. They stole all the portable items, including the movements from the grandfather clocks, leaving the cases behind. The one item that they ignored was the books. We had a small display of about 200 volumes, mainly on restoration and collecting. Prior to this, I'd purchased the old solicitor's office in Wigtown, number 6 South Main Street. I'd intended it to be a workshop, but due to the change of circumstances, I decided to sell the books from there. Jimmy Martin, a local Wigtonian, asked me what I was going to sell in this shop. I told him books. He said, "But we don't read in Wigtown." I told him the only reason you don't read is because you haven't got a bookshop. He became one of our most avid customers. The little shop was very small and could only take at the most 10 people at a time. If an 11th came along, they had to stand outside and wait for a space. If it was raining, we gave them an umbrella. Initially, we sold all books for £1. Rupert Annuals, Enid Blyton's, first editions, anything. Needless to say, people returned, but when they did, the books were more sensibly priced. It should be acknowledged that we were not alone in the book trade in the town. Tony and Rosemary Baker had been selling their archaeology books by post from their house in Agnew Crescent for some years. In the first year, we spent £6,000 on advertising. This paid off very quickly. People came from far and wide, not just buying, but bringing books for us to buy. Before long, it became apparent that we needed bigger premises. Wigtown was full of empty shops and derelict buildings, so there was plenty of choice. However, Amy and Bobby Dill decided to sell 17 North Main Street, which they used as a furniture store. We were able to do a deal with Mr. and Mrs. Dill, and so we sold the little shop and moved into number 17. The first few years we worked hard to open up the whole building. Eventually we had over 100,000 books on offer. In 1996, Strathclyde University suggested that Scotland needed a national book town for the promotion of literature. An article was written and appeared in an edition of the Scotsman. An appeal was made for towns throughout Scotland to apply for this accolade. Meta Maltman of Macca's Action read this article and came to see me. She wanted to know if they did apply, would it affect my business? I told her that it would. In that case, she said, we will not apply. I assured her that the effect would not be detrimental, but rather for the better. In that case, she replied, we will apply. Right. We purposely kept out of the limelight regarding the application, as we did not want anyone to think that we were doing it for our own gain. We did, however, discreetly donate money to enable the application to go forward. The rest is history. The committee applied, and after a long drawn-out battle, Wigtown was awarded the title. And here we are, 20 years on, and still going.
Well, that's very interesting. Thanks very much, John. But What about the bank robber? What happened to him?
Well, he's probably in the old age pensioners wing of Barlinnie prison, dreaming up his next heist.